Hello students, today we will discuss the poem on the receipt of my mother's picture, and the other title of the poem is also on the receipt of my mother's picture out of Norfolk. This poem is a kind of elegy, an elegy that is mourning on the death of someone. This poem is mourning the death of poet's mother. Poet is mourning the death of his mother after several years when he got his mother's picture by his cousin. So in 1790, at the age of 58, William Cooper received a picture of his mother from his cousin Anne Botham, and that picture inspired him to write about his mother. And he wrote this poem in which he is recollecting all his childhood memories with his mother, his mother's attitude towards him, and how she loved and inspired him. Though he was very young, he was only 6 when his mother died. So when at the age of 58 he got that picture of his mother, he became emotional and he wrote this elegy, and he recollected all his childhood memories in this poem. So let's begin with the poem. Oh, that those lips had language, life has passed with me but roughly since I heard thee last. D means you. Poet is saying, oh, that those lips had language. The picture of his mother is so realistic that it appears that those lips are going to speak something. Those lips still had a language. Life has passed with me, but roughly since I heard the last. He said that his life was very miserable after her death, and since I heard the last, when the last time I heard about you, after that my life was very miserable. I passed a very miserable life. I was very sad. Those lips are thine, thy own sweet smiles I see. Those lips are thine. Those the lips in the pictures are yours only. Thy own sweet smile I see, and I can feel, I can see that sweet smile on your face, on your lips, in this picture also. The same that oft in childhood solaced me. Oft means often. Solace means gives satisfaction, gives joy. So he says that I can sense that this is the same smile that makes me happy and that makes me satisfied in my childhood days. Voice only fails else, though they cannot speak now because the mother is in the picture, so the lips cannot speak. Else how distinct they say, grieve not my child, chase all thy fears away. Or if she could speak, they she will definitely say that, oh my child, please do not grieve and chase your fears away. कवि कहते हैं कि इस तस्वीर में मेरी माँ इतनी जीवंत लग रही हैं जैसे कि वो स्वयं ही खड़ी हों। मैं इस मुस्कुराहट को पहचान सकता हूँ, और हालांकि ये बोल नहीं सकती, लेकिन अगर ये बोल पाती तो यही कहती कि मेरे बच्चे तुम दुखी मत हो और अपने सभी डरों को तुम दूर भगा दो. द मीक इंटेलिजेंस ऑफ दोज डियर आइज, blessed be the art that can immortalize the art that baffles time's tyrannic claim to quench it. Here shines on me still the same. The meek intelligence of those dear eyes here shines on me still the same. He says that the modest intelligence in the eyes of my mother is still shining on me as it was shining during my childhood. And he is also expressing the gratitude towards the immortalizing power of art. He is saying, blessed be the art that can immortalize, the art that baffles time's tyrannic claim to quench it. He says that the art is blissful that has immortalized you in this picture. The art of painting is um, very blessed art because it has immortalized you in this picture, the art that baffles time's tyrannic claim to quench it. And the power of art has uh, proved that the oppressive and cruel time cannot win the immortality of the art. मतलब यह है कि वो कला की अमरता को दर्शा रहे हैं और वो कह रहे हैं कि इस पिक्चर के द्वारा मेरी माँ मेरे सामने साक्षात उपस्थित हैं। तो जो आर्ट है वो समय के हर क्लेम को डिफाई कर देती है। आर्ट समय के हर इस क्लेम को नकार देती है कि वो किसी चीज़ पे इतनी विजय प्राप्त कर सकता है कि उसे भुलाया जा सके, क्योंकि उसकी माँ उसके सामने आज उस तस्वीर में जीवित है। सो ही इज़ एक्सप्रेसिंग एन ग्रेटिट्यूड टू द इमोर्टलाइजिंग पावर ऑफ द आर्ट विच कैन ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट द क्रूअल एंड ऑपरेसिव क्लेम ऑफ द टाइम। Faithful remembrance of one so dear, O welcome guest, though unexpected here. Faithful remembrancer. Remembrancer means reminder. And what is the reminder here? The picture of the mother. O welcome guest. Welcome guest is also picture of mother, though unexpected here. So he is saying that this picture is a very faithful reminder of someone who is very dear to my heart, O welcome guest. And this picture of his mother is welcomed by him, though it was very unexpected thing for him. He never expected that he would get this kind of picture of his mother in his life, so it was very unexpected. But now the picture is here. Who biddest me honor with an artless song, affectionate a mother lost so long. And it appears as if this picture is uh, ordering him something, and he says that he will honor this picture. He would like to honor this picture. He would like to say some words in the honor of this picture in his simple poetry about his mother who is so affectionate and long lost. I will obey, not willingly alone, but gladly, as the percept were her own. Percept, Percept, percept means order. So he says that I will obey the order, not, this is not only my will, but I will happily try to write something about my mother, because I think that poet says that he thinks that the picture is ordering him to do something immortal like this work of art. So he is trying to write something for his mother. And while that face renews my filial grief, fancy shall weave a charm for my relief. He says that when I looked, the poet says that when he looked at his mother's face in the picture, his parental grief, while that face renews my filial grief, when he looked at the face of his mother's picture, he felt a parental grief in his heart. Fancy shall weave a charm for my relief. But fancy means imagination, weave a charm means create a magic. So he says that my imagination will create a magic for me, for my relief, to relieved me from this sadness of the loss of my mother, shall steep me in Elysian reverie, and my imagination will plunge me into the Elysian means heavenly, reverie matlab daydreaming. He says that my imagination will plunge me into heavenly daydreaming, in which my mother will come in which my she will come alive and I will get relieved of this pain of her death. A momentary dream that thou art she. Thou here refers to the picture. He says that in his momentary daydreaming, in his heavenly daydreaming, he will see that picture as his own mother. That picture will not be a picture, but he will see see her as his mother. My mother, when I learned it that thou was dead, say my mother, when I learned that thou was dead, say was thou conscious of the tears I shed. Now in the next few paragraphs, few stanzas, he reveals his plight in his childhood when he lost his mother. My mother, he's asking some questions. He's throwing many questions, a series of questions which reveals his pain he went through during at the time of her death. So he asked my mother, when I learned that thou was dead, say was thou conscious of the tears I shed? He asked he is asking his mother, oh mother, when I came to know about your death, I shed many tears of sorrow. Did you notice my tears? Hovered thy spirit over thy sorrowing son? Did your spirit hovered or flying about? Did your spirit hovered around your sorrowing son? That was me. He was broken and sorrow filled at that time. Wretch, even then life journey just began, and he was a wretched, a little human being because he was only 6 years old. His life journey just began. At the time of the death of his mother, his life journey has just begun because he was only 6 when she died. Perhaps thou givest me, though unseen, a kiss, perhaps a tear if souls can weep in bliss. Then he imagined that perhaps she gave me an unseen kiss, and she also shedded also shed some tears for me, for his bad plight. Ah, that maternal smile, it answers yes. Then he again looked at the picture and he said to himself, he replied to himself that that he can see, he can notice that maternal smile on her face, and her smile is answering, yes, my son, I kissed you, I wept for you at that time. I heard the bell tolled on thy burial day. I saw the years that bore thee slowly away. Thee, thee means you, but here thee means you refers to the mother, but the mother is not alive. Thee refers to the dead body of the mother. I heard the bell tolled on thy burial day. He said that I was a child at that time, but I heard the ringing of the death bells on the day of your death. I saw the years that bore thee slow away. I also saw the dead body carrier in which your dead body was carried away slowly. And turning from my nursery window, drew a long sigh and wept a last adieu. So, and I was, and the poet was looking everything from the small window of his house, a long sigh, and wept a last adieu. So he was weeping bitterly, and he uh, said he said farewell to his mother. So these all lines reflect that the memories of her burial day is still fresh in the poet's mind. But was it such? It was. Where thou art gone. So he says that he adieu farewell to his mother. But was it such? But was it a reality? It was. Where thou art gone. Adieu and farewells are a sound unknown. I didn't know. Poet says that it was not right that I adieu farewell to my mother, because he was very young. He was only 6, and in a child's world, farewell is an unknown concept. He was not familiar to the concept of death and life, so he never bid farewell. He never bid farewell to his mother. May I but meet thee on that peaceful shore, the parting sound shall pass my lips no more. So now he will meet his mother on that peaceful shore of death. That parting sound shall pass my lips no more, and so that he wants to meet his mother on the peaceful shore. Peaceful shore here refers to the death. He wants to meet her in death, so that he does not have to utter the parting words to his mother. Thy maiden grieved themselves at all my concern. Everyone, the maids who looked after him, grieved very much. They were filled with sorrow and grief, and they had a great concern for the poet. Oft gave me promise of a quick return, and those maids often made some promises and made him believe that his mother will return surely after some days. What ardently I wished, I long believed, and disappointed still was still deceived. Poet says that what ardently I wished, I was passionately waited for you. I wished. Poet says that he had a great desire to see his mother again. I long believed, and he believed in those false promises that his mother will come back soon, and disappointed still was still deceived. But he got disappointments, and still he is disappointed that he has not got his mother, and he was deceived again and again by these false promises. तो पोइट बहुत छोटे बच्चे थे, तो उनकी जो सर्वेंट्स थी वो उनसे कहा करती थी कि उनकी माँ जल्दी ही आ जाएंगी, जल्दी ही आ जाएंगी, लेकिन जब वो लौटती नहीं थी तो वो अपने आप को ऐसा महसूस करते थे निराश और धोखा खाए हुए. बाय डिसअपॉइंटमेंट एवरी डे beguiled, dupe of tomorrow even from a child. So he felt, the poet felt cheated every day and disappointed every day, dupe of tomorrow even from a child. He was deceived by every tomorrow, because the tomorrow comes, but his mother never returned to him. Till all may stock of infant sorrow spent, I learned at last submission to my loss. And he waited till his memories of childhood sorrow spent. And then I learned at last submission, resignation to my lot. Lot means destiny. So finally, poet learned to resign to his plight of, and he made to believe that he accepted his destiny, that his mother will never return. But though I less deplored, thee never forgot. Then, when he learned that his mother will never return, he submitted to everything to his destiny. And but though I less deplored means mourned. He says that though he started mourning less, but he never forgot his mother. He never forgot her. She was always in his memories. She was always present in his mind, though he started lamenting her death a lot, though he started learning that she will never return to him. He resigned to his destiny, but he always keep her memories in his mind. This is all. We will discuss the next part of